All right, welcome back to Tarqaron, partners. Here another installment of the month of horror. Even though this isn't a very spooky video, but it's still in that month. So we're dressed in costume. We got Doodle Bob on your right, and we got Nondescript
Me
Cowboy
hoy, me noy,
on your
me
left.
yoy.
That's right, me hoi Manoy, me hoi Manoy, and I'm kind of like Lil Nas X coded, uh, Beyonce fan right here. Okay. And here we are to review appropriately
That's
Tron
right.
Legacy, which fits both of our aesthetics perfectly well. That's right, Tron Legacy. So we're making our way through the Tron movies here. Last week we reviewed Tron, the original
Mm-hmm.
1982 film. Now we're reviewing Tron Legacy from 2010, and next week we'll review Tron Ares from 2025. What a trilogy it is! It's crazy.
Very spread out trilogy. It's you could, in fact, you could call it maybe not a trilogy at all.
That's right. But it counts for us. That's a series, at least. You know, we've done a lot of different movie series in our time here, but it's
Mm-hmm.
always a minimum of 3 movies you need. So we just made the cut here. So, as always, Alec has seen these. I hadn't seen them, so first time watching. And we're gonna do our gut check to start things off, which is a score out of 10 coming into the review, and then afterwards we'll lock in our final scores at the end of the review. Okay.
That's right.
All right, let's see now. 3, 2, 1, flip. 7.
8.5.
All right. So, off rip, do you like this movie more or less than the original? I'm guessing less because you came
Uh,
in
I,
lower, but
okay. So, okay, objectively speaking,
mm-hmm.
it's hard to say because like Tron is like one of those things that is just extremely nostalgic for me. So like even giving it a score
Mm-hmm.
of any like if I'm to look at it objectively, is it at 8.5? Absolutely not. It's like it's not. It's really not. It's most of that is nostalgia speaking. I just have very I I like it more in concept than because it's not a great movie, the original Tron, but it is
Right.
a very interesting movie. It's a very I love watching it. This is a much better movie, and I would say for what it's worth, this is like it's it's way better than the original Tron. I love this movie. Like I love the original Tron because it's very nostalgic and I just like the concepts and the idea and the breakthrough of the technology. This is actually like a legitimately great movie and I vibe with it super hard. It
mm-hmm.
has like it like leans into the cyberpunk type things that I really like. The soundtrack does so much is Wendy Carlos's score is great. Don't get me wrong, but like the score here just completely elevates the material beyond what's on the
Right.
screen. And this is so much better movie than the original Tron. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard comparison, but still kind of has a little bit some issues here and there. But I think I would say this is a better movie. It's hard for me to say if I like it more than the original Tron, but I think it's inarguably a better movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think this is a great movie. Honestly, I enjoyed it significantly more than the original. I don't think it's even close. But ironically, the scores are pretty close. But that's because I gave the other one a boost. I gave it I graded it with a curve a little bit. This one I definitely enjoyed way more. It was much more entertaining.
Hmm.
I still don't think it's a great movie, and that Jeff Bridges is something terrifying. That 1989 Jeff Bridges
Yeah.
is something
So
really unsettling about that guy. But
yeah. So like I can't. To me, like something like that doesn't completely hold the movie back. Like it's distracting,
yeah,
and I really wish that they didn't do it. I really wish they didn't do it because it
yeah,
instantly. Here's the thing:
yeah,
when the movie came out, it was okay. It didn't look great
it still
when
wasn't
it came
great.
out.
Yeah,
It was impressive technology for the time, but it was not great.
Yeah, yeah.
Even at the time, it still didn't. It wasn't like, wow, that's
It
amazing.
wasn't like you're not gonna.
It doesn't
It's not like
work.
you're not gonna be unsettled by it. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
That's the thing
and
with
I
that
think
is because like it's not just the technology of the time. It's just you specifically picked a technique that you knew was not gonna translate well. It's immediately off-putting, and then over time it
yeah,
does. That's not the thing. The only thing that holding the movie back for me is, but it's just obviously
yeah.
very noticeable.
It's yeah. It's the thing about it to me is like you could if you were insisting on doing that, which is fine, you can do that. But if you're insisting on doing that, I think the best way to go about doing that is just having that be Clue. Just make Clue look like that.
Yeah,
Because that way then there's a little bit of a bridge between this is the artificial like this is the it's the artifice of like how he sees himself. So it's like but he does want to distinguish himself a little bit between who he is Kevin Flynn versus like his creation because there's some parallels between the relationship he and Clue have and he and Sam have. So like you can go, there's all kinds of different like avenues you could kind of go down with that. But I think if you're going to use the de-aging technique, only use it on Clue. Do not use it on like young 1989 Jeff Bridges or like the flashback Jeff
exactly. Yeah,
Bridges
yeah.
when Kevin Flynn is like he's supposed to be younger. For those scenes, literally just have Jeff Bridges is a handsome guy. He looks very good for his age. Just have him shave. For crying out loud, just give him a shave and he looks fine. Like put a little bit of makeup on it to make him look a little younger. It's fine. You don't have to I don't understand why they insisted on doing it. Because like I thought and even watching it again, I hoped watching it again that I was like, man, don't show him off in the room. Just like
Yeah.
do it smartly.
Right,
Do it the
right.
way because the way it's shot is very purposeful. It's always him in reverse and he's sort of backlit. So it looks really good when you can't see his face. It's really good. He sells it very well as being a younger man.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just ruin it by having that
It's
horrible him turn around and it looks horrifying.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah, that's my
horrifying.
thing. That's my thing. I totally
And
agree.
the thing is like and the thing about that too that kind of sucks cuz like yeah, you could have just not had that and it would have been fine. I just don't you just shoot him in reverse and you don't have to show his face off or anything like that.
No, I
There's all kinds of things you could do to sort of alleviate that.
yeah, I agree that if it was they shouldn't have done it at all, but if they were gonna do it, you could have at least tried to make it pretend that their bad technology was because of the AI. But they immediately scared me with the 1989 Jeff Bridges. It's like unforgivable from that point.
Yeah, I don't know, just have him shave. I don't know. Like Jeff Bridges is a good-looking guy, and he looks great for his age. Just shave, put a little makeup on. I don't know.
And even
It's so
still,
ridiculous.
even if they did that concept, it would have been funny because like everybody else just looks like a normal human in the Tron world, but he just has to look disturbing. So, but it's like at least that sets him apart a
Yeah,
little, and there's like a part of his like personality that you could be like, okay, maybe you're supposed to be unsettled by it, and you could find your way there, but this one you can't. So, yeah, that's just the obvious. What? I thought it was like they dropped a Polar Express character into the Tron world. So it felt like to me.
oh no,
So
drop the not the Polar Express.
yeah, that's the most distracting first thing to notice about this movie. But I will say that
Yeah,
I think it's infinitely cooler than the first movie. I think it's everything else looks really
it's
good.
very cool.
Like you didn't have to age your movie that much because everything else looked really cool. All the aesthetics of everything, and then just that one thing is like, oh, okay. It's like, otherwise, I'd just be like, oh, this is a cool looking movie, and it's got the music is yeah, like you said, even better, noticeably better for sure, and
Yeah, that Daft Punk score really goes a long way.
mhm.
I think.
Then the users theme coming in, yeah,
yeah, Yeah, the derest. Hey, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Instantly took me back.
That's right.
Yeah, for those who don't know, you had a podcast years ago called The Users, and that was the theme.
It was called The Users. It was really mainly yeah, it was really mainly from Pete Dorr just calling people on the forum users, because he used to call like he would talk about like podcast listeners. He would say like, "Oh yeah, they're the users," but like he was talking about like the forum users.
Yeah,
Um, but that just became kind of like we people who listen to the podcast and were involved in the forums and involved in the sub forum, the for the All Gen Gamers podcast, we would just affectionately call ourselves the users. And so then that was what our boy Lachlan decided to name the fan podcast of the All Gen Gamers. He called it the users, and that was always our thing.
yeah,
And so yeah, so we then co-opted some Tron sort of stuff here and there, which I thought was always fun because I'm a big Tron guy. So that was always really great for me. And yeah, good stuff. I think, did we end podcast by saying end of line? I think we might have.
really? I don't know.
I don't remember. I don't really have any of those old ones saved. That's the problem.
I really like the light cycle scene again in this movie. That's another fun
Yeah.
one.
Well, it was way cooler in this movie than it was in the previous one. So like the original film is just very like, it's very charming, but it's like it's kind of geeky, like
Hmm.
for kind of lack of a better descriptor. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know, everybody's in these weird white costumes, and it's it's yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, I love Tron, but everything that they did in Legacy just made it cool. It made it really cool. Like with the light cycles, having that sort of like clear liquidy sort of glass look to the trail being left behind, and that they could switch that on and off. That was so awesome. I
yeah,
loved that. Loved everything about that. That whole scene, and playing the disc fight game was awesome
yeah. Discs are
in
better.
this one too.
Yeah,
I was just, oh my god, everything about it was so cool. Yeah.
but
Um.
I do think that the movie itself isn't remarkable. I don't think the story is the most remarkable thing. Most of the characters still aren't. There's not much there. It's just our main two, really. But I think it's carried a lot by the aesthetic. Like if the aesthetic wasn't there, I don't think the movie would really. There wouldn't be much to remark upon. Personally.
It's it's the aesthetic, and I also think the camera work and the direction is actually really solid for it, for what's lacking in the script still. And I think that I really like the father son dynamic a lot in this. I One of the things that to as an aside from the visual stuff for a second, but one of the things about rewatching it that I really appreciated about it was that it sort of eschews the kind of typical like reconnection, and they're like, he's really mad, like, how dare you left me, and all that stuff. It's like you can tell that he's kind of like he's well past the acceptance stage that his dad is never coming back.
Right.
Like, you even see that when he's talking with Alan. He's just like, he's gone. Like, I don't know, he's gone at this
Yeah.
point. So like when he reconnects, it's almost like him trying to like having to reconcile with the fact that, oh, my dad is like actually like alive and back, and he wasn't just making up stories for me, but like all this stuff was real.
Yeah. And it
Um
wasn't malicious
and
and
like it's yeah, and so I like that they, instead of going down the typical route of like, how dare you, it's very like, it's a lot more mature, and it's sort of like to me it felt more real in a weird way. Like, there's I think there's a realism to being like legitimately angry or upset, but I think there's another reality in which like people could just learn to like move on and move past things. And then like when you have the ability to rekindle something like that, it there's still like a yearning of like wanting to be there, to be to be the son that he hasn't been able to be to his dad for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So he like try, he has this attempt to try to reconnect, but of course Kevin is still kind of like, it's better to sit aside, better to, we shouldn't engage, because sometimes sitting and waiting is better than the doing nothing, which is in itself a parallel to what Sam has been doing out in the real world at NCOM. He sits and waits. He doesn't do anything. He could be doing something proactively, but instead he's kind of sit idly by and just kind of checks in and messes things up a little bit for the company every once in a while.
Right.
So I really like it for that. That dynamic is really kind of what holds the movie together. For me, I do like Cora a lot too. She's fun. And also Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen? Is it Martin Sheen's character? Is it Martin Sheen,
Mm.
or it's something Sheen? Michael Sheen? David Sheen? I don't know. The guy who plays the end of line club manager. He's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Yeah.
it is really the father son kind of dynamic that really sells the movie for me. It sells the story for me because it's very simple. Again, it's just like, gotta save. There's a Clue is like a megalomaniac, maniacal, like uh, having like a fascist regime in the world, and we gotta escape. We gotta try to save Kevin Flynn, who we discovered still alive. We gotta save him from the computer world, and
Right.
he's trying to make an effort to take over the real world. And it's like, okay, so you got to stop that. And it's like, sort of. And if you just delay it long enough, if you keep Kevin's disc away, he's not able to get out into the real world. So then there's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of it's very simple. There's still some little hints of like deeper stuff that they don't really touch on as much as they probably would have been more interesting if they had. But um but overall, yeah, I mean, I think the movie works super well, just kind of on vibes, for lack of a better term. It just is like, it's a beautiful world to look at. It's just fun to be in. um and and yeah, I think overall the visual storytelling, the direction of the movie is just really, really solid. The camera work and everything, it's very, very deliberate camera work. Um, that I just it just it just feels good to watch it. I don't know. It's sort of hard to put it into words, but like, it's just a very satisfying movie to sort of look at visually and experience. And I also want to add that I think this was an issue earlier on Disney Plus, but they've since resolved it, which is the aspect ratio changing. Which I don't know if you noticed this, but like they shot parts of this movie for IMAX,
Mm-hmm.
so those scenes, the aspect ratio changes, and it looks so good. Every time it happened, I was like, yes! It's just
Yeah.
like, because it just opens it up and it looks so awesome.
It
Even on a
looks
smaller display, it
it
looks
looks so awesome,
amazing.
and then they give you an extreme close up of Jeff Bridges' 1989 version, and it just hits.
Well,
They
they don't
ruin.
do. Well, yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
ruin the
that does
vibes,
happen a
man.
couple times.
but,
That does happen a couple times.
but
It's
yeah, there
true.
really is like it's a
Um,
fun movie to look at. So that's
mm,
why that's is so weirdly off putting, is that it's jarring with the rest of it. And yeah, when I was trying to think going into
mhm.
this movie, like what's the reason to come back to the Tron world? How does he end up back in there? Like what's the explanation? And then I watched this movie and like, of course he gets trapped in there. Of course that's what happens, is naturally. And then of course it's like classic, what have you done? Like this monster you created, and he's now taking over, like AI is taking over a storyline. So a couple of classics in there. But yeah, it's fun. It is fun. It's much more enjoyable than the original. But when I was thinking about it, after I watched the original, I'm like, okay, for this series to have such a legacy, Tron Legacy must be like a masterpiece, right? And then I come watch this movie, and I'm like, okay, it's just like a cooler, spiffier version of the original with a little more depth to it. But um, it really is just that the vibes. That's what's driving it. You take out some of these neon lights, it's just nothing. The movie is nothing.
So yeah, what another thing is kind of interesting about this movie is that like this sort of predates a lot of the like soft reboot era of and kind
Yeah.
of the like the general look of franchise films. Like Star Wars: The Force Awakens is a perfect example of a soft reboot, but like this almost did it. This did it 5 years earlier,
Hmm.
um, to such an interesting degree. Um, like it took this sort of established universe. It did something like kind of went in on its own little direction about it because this is like the grid as we know it in this movie is a completely different world. Technically speaking, is a completely different world because all the programs in here were all designed by Kevin Flynn. They're all his
Mm.
stuff, um, his designs, and so like. Uh, Whereas in the original Tron, it's like a weird amalgamation. It's sort of vague. It's kind of not defined specifically, but it's seemingly like it is essentially the inner workings of NCOM and all the different users that have worked there. Maybe even some interconnected worlds and stuff there. I don't know. But with Legacy, we have like yeah, it's just that one specific world, and it's like they're trying to make a some kind of a franchise out of it. This is before Disney acquired Star Wars. So it's almost like they're trying to do like a Star Wars type thing where they're gonna like it's very clear that they had plans for some kind of a film series, even if it was just a follow up to this one. But like Killian Murphy is in this movie for like a grand total of 60 seconds,
I
basically.
seen him. I seen him. I was like, here he is.
and he plays the son of the bad guy in the last movie. He plays
Hmm.
David Warner's son. He's Ed Dillinger Jr. And so like he's clearly being set up to be like this greater figure in the future.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's like a short film that's released that was released I think I don't know if it was on the Blu-ray specifically, but there was a short film where that it basically indicated that like yeah, you know, Flynn lives was like one of the big things that was like one of the big phrases that's used in that. I don't remember if that actually might have been the name of the short film. I don't think it was, but that was like a big kind of marketing thing for like the spearheading like if there's going to be another Tron movie that never really emerged. So and Tron Ares is essentially like the building like from my understanding is that it's based on script ideas that they had for this trilogy,
Mm.
but they kind of did their own thing and made a completely other thing related to it. So when we see that later this week, I don't even know if it's going to make any reference to much of anything in this movie either. It's sort of hard to say what sort of plans that they have because like um, Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde aren't going to be in the new one.
Yeah, I
I don't even
noticed
know if
that.
I don't even know if Bruce Boxleitner's in it either. Tron. I don't even know if he's going to be
Yeah,
in
the
the
only
new one.
name I saw attached to it for sure is Jeff
It's Jeff
Bridges,
Bridges.
like from this.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was it was like, that's interesting. So it was just like another complete reboot. And they'll probably just have a couple nods to the original,
maybe.
right?
Yeah,
Olivia Wilde didn't want to come out.
yeah.
Is that what it was? She didn't feel like it.
No, well, I think when I remember reading yeah, I remember reading something that she was like, "Oh, thank goodness!" Like, I think when some of the other stuff was falling through, she's like, "Oh, thank goodness! I don't have to like starve myself basically to to fit into the tight
Mm.
suits or whatever anymore."
Yeah.
Um, I will say that like she's great. She's a beautiful lady, But I think she's really fun in this movie. I don't know. She's just kind of a quirky little character to have along. She's sort of like the Rom of this movie, you know,
Mm,
a Rom in the original.
right.
I
Yeah.
kind of like that. That was fun. I don't know. I like having that kind of character, and then her whole existence is like a deeper lore kind of aspect to this legacy world as well. So
Yeah. And then at the end, you got her in the real world. So
yeah,
and it's like,
doesn't
oh
get
man,
out.
that's a setup for a sequel right there. And then, nope, gone.
Yep. Just
Enter
stuff fell through, I guess. I don't
Jared
know.
Leto.
I don't
Uh,
know. Yeah, enter Jared Leto. Yeah, exactly. Um,
so yeah, to me that's where kind of what's tough with the movie because like the plot points aren't that inspired really, and so the father son dynamic is obviously the heart of it. That's the only real depth you get there. Other things are pretty surface level, and it's vibes. So it's like again like it's much better than the original, right? It's a much more
mhm.
competently made film. It's much more digestible just as like a viewing experience, and it is fun, but I don't think it's great, and so that's where I'm at with it. And I can think a movie's not great, but still have a fun time, and I would still definitely throw it on. I would throw it on again,
Mm.
but
This is I think this is a kind of an infinitely rewatchable movie if just for vibes alone. I mean, I think
mm-hmm.
listen to that soundtrack, just seeing that just the cool aesthetic of the world. I mean, like the end of line bar, like I'd love to just go there. Like that place looked awesome. I'd love
Yeah,
to
yeah,
just go out and chill out in a place like that. It looks great.
that's true.
Um,
And I liked when he went back
yeah.
to Flynn's old arcade, and there's like the retro vibe to it. Started playing
Mhm.
some Journey, uh, separate ways. Started playing, and you go to I
Yeah,
like the unearthing
one of
behind
my
it.
favorite songs
That's one of my favorites
by
too.
Journey. By Journey, I love that song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then when he unearths the secret little room behind the cabinet, just a thick layer of dust, some nasty vile shit right there. It's like I get the heebie-jeebies whenever I'm testing that much dust. He was just like, and then he was good. I'm like, no, I'd be like, the fuck.
you're just like
Just like
gotta scrub
the
that off.
thickest layer of dust ever. But
I could hear Donkey Kong very prominently in the background.
mhm,
By the way, like like multiple times, I heard the da ba da ba da ba da ba
yeah,
da da.
but
It was cool that they implemented the idea that Kevin Flynn, after his adventures in the Tron world, made the Tron video game, and that alongside of
interesting.
Space
Yeah,
Paranoids was like the best selling game of all time. And I because that game I love Tron. The arcade game is extremely fun.
hmm.
I will say because you get to do different stuff. You get to play the light cycle. You get to fight. You get to go after the MCP. You get to like shoot the disc to try to get the MCP. It's really fun. It's a really fun game.
Hmm. I bet
But yeah,
definitely lends itself to that. Yeah, it was interesting they do. You see that it's literally making the Tron movie poster like canon. Like you see that you're either gonna not acknowledge it at all, or you're gonna completely canonize your actual previous movie. Like when you're that far removed from it, you can just be like, oh, yeah, that's just part of the story in this. So that's
yep.
interesting choice. But yeah,
But alongside the father son parallel, like the stuff with the Flynns, but I also like the stuff with like because like Clue is almost like he you get the sense that he feels that he's the one that's upset at his dad, the mirror
yeah,
copy at Jeff Bridges. He's the one that's like he's my dad. He's technically like god of this world, but like he's you know, his vision is skewed. I'm the perfect creation. I'm the one that's should know. And like I just love that moment where it's like, why do you care about him? It's because he's my son. And it just like cuts back to Clue, and Clue's clearly like not okay with that. So it's like his ultimate revenge would be killing who he feels is his father's son. It's because he feels that he's the better son, because he's the perfect copy of him. Clearly, I'm the
Clearly, you
better
could
son.
see it
I
one to
just
one.
I love. Yeah, you clearly the 1-to-1. I don't know. I just really like that stuff. I think that stuff works really well for the movie. It's not the strongest plot ever, but I don't know. I just really like it. It's definitely an improvement over the plot of the original movie. I will say. So
Anything else for Tron
I don't
Legacy?
know. The MCP is really rearing its head this time, or the same thing tonight
Yeah,
for
we've been dealing
recording. I don't
with
know what's
we've been
going
dealing
on.
with some glitches in the system. If you see any cuts, I tried to cover up the best I could last time, but you know, uh,
Yeah.
it's it comes with the territory. Like this is just a cursed little couple reviews here.
Yeah, it's on my end. Something's wrong with the G diffuser, to quote Falco, but
We're kicking it old
yeah,
school. At least
something's kind
back
of
in the
screwed up
day
on
when
my
your
end.
connection was bad, it would still carry on. It would just you would just see like pixels dropping, and then every now and then you would get frozen, but you get some fun sounds out of it.
Yeah.
This one's
Yeah,
lame.
it
It
would.
starts like desyncing the audio and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like, yeah, that's not fun. You don't get any tearing apart like the Last
They're
Jedi review.
falling apart.
So,
All right, we ready for final scores?
I am.
3, 2, 1, flip. I was waiting for you to flip. This delay. 7
Well, on principle I had to stick to the same rating.
on
I do
principle,
I
huh?
think this movie is great. I think it's visually just very arresting. I was so glad I got my 4Ks that just came in today, and I'm really excited to actually have physical copies of this as well as the original Tron. So I'm really happy about
Hmm.
that. But
So that's
mm,
Tarqaron scores 7.75. All right. All right.
hey, not bad for Tron Legacy, baby.
Okay.
I'm skewing the results, baby. Let's go. Let's go for Tron.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how Ares is going to stack up though. That's kind of the thing
Big
that
question
I don't
mark.
know. It's new territory now.
Yeah.
These aren't exactly like critical darlings, and they're not really crowd pleasers either. These are kind of the epitome of cult movies, I think. At least for the Disney crowd, these are definitely cult movies. Like you don't find a whole lot of people that have like a whole lot of like love for Tron. If they love Tron, if they're like me, they love Tron. If they
Yep.
don't really, they're just like, yeah, it's whatever, it's Tron. It's that weird crappy looking old movie from the 80s, or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see what they pull off. What they pull off with it. I'll be as the resident Tron head. I'll be the judge of
Mm.
that.
See,
But
when I
we'll see.
watched the original and it was just mid to me, and I was like, Tron Legacy's gotta be at least beloved by fans. And then I go on Letterboxd, and like some of the people I follow, they had the original higher than this one. I'm like, what is going on here? Like they were not feeling this movie. It's maybe even more divisive than the original. It was like, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to me. I don't know. And that's the thing. As somebody who loves both, and if I was to pick a favorite, I would have a hard time doing so. But like, this is just objectively a better movie than the previous one. Like,
Hmm.
I have to just sit back and say that. Like, it's I don't know.
It
It's just Jeff Bridges' face. I guess that just scares people a little
is
bit.
it is very scary.
Yeah,
But Tron Ares,
the
now this,
de-aging technology.
what's interesting, Tron Ares, we're at a time where like technology is at its absolute peak. Like there's so many incredible visual effects we've seen in recent movies, They're like,
Mm.
that'll be interesting to see if they take full advantage of that in this new Tron. That could be something else, and that could carry it hard too, right there. Just have an amazing modern Tron look.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
We shall have to see.
All right. And so subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Come back next week for Tron Ares review. Like the video, leave a comment with your thoughts. And until next time, I'm going to suggest a random Tarqaron video for you to watch next.
Random rules.
If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go check out our review of the Triforce album from Starbomb.
Again? That happened not that long ago. We get that one again, huh?
Really? Yeah,
Wow.
that's a
We just need to
classic.
boost the
That's an
numbers on
older
that
one.
one. I
It's an
guess.
old
I don't
one.
know.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
take care. From outside the Tron universe.